Okay, GaijinAss podcast number 3. Middle of April. I'm exhausted. Just got back from the gym. And I'm still very hot. Today, my guest, I got Rionne's here. Rionne the Australian.
Yo, what's up?
Yep.
I should say g'day, mate, instead.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping it cultural.
Yes.
So what's going on? What's the word today?
What's the word? Today I've been busting my ass trying to sell tickets for my big event.
When's the big event?
It's on the 25th of this month.
And what is the nature of this big event?
The nature is that I am wrestling for the Australian Championship. It's a kind of weird thing. It's an Australian is coming over here and putting his title on the line against me.
Yeah.
And we're wrestling in Japan. So it's the first time in the history of pro wrestling in Japan, which is quite a long history, that an Australian title will be decided.
So, what's the organization that this... Wait. What's this other prisoner's name?
I laughed when you said that on your last podcast, the prisoner. His name is AJ Hysteria.
So what organization is he with?
He's with Pacific Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
It's a federation in Australia. Australian pro wrestling is not that big, but
yeah,
it's.
Well, just real quick, break down the tier system. I mean, assuming WWE is like the absolute top tier,
right? And the top tier here is New Japan.
Okay.
Which is the exact equivalent. All the big stars. Inoki started that.
Okay.
And since you're an MMA fan, we can also kind of cross over that later on. But those guys left New Japan.
Yeah.
Went off to start UWF, which ended up becoming Pancrase, and I think that's how it happened. But and so
yeah, they do that here. Everyone
crosses over, and
So this guy, what's his name again?
AJ Istria.
Okay.
AJ.
So, what about weights? Are you guys comparable? Same weights?
No, he's about 100 kilos.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm about 80, 85, 86 on a good day.
A lean and mean 85.
I'm looking alright. Actually, I don't know if you can see the lines.
Yeah.
I've been tanning.
Yeah.
And a little bit too much. So I got these white eyes on my face, and it reminded me of a story I was telling you. I want to tell you a story about Rocky.
Yeah.
When I tanned too much a few years ago, and we were in the hub as we were a lot that time, very drunk, and he starts, of course, you know those days well.
I do.
The hub. He starts giving me shit about my tan lines, and he said, I've got the perfect solution, and he's like, aloe vera. I was like, alright, what should I go buy some from the drugstore? He's like, no, the plant, man, the plant. I was like, where do I get an aloe vera plant from? Because they're everywhere in Tokyo. So we left the hub, and we went on a backstreet mission in Shibuya to find an aloe vera plant.
Okay.
And he swears, well, until the day that he left us, he swore to that day that he had actually found the real plant, but obviously it wasn't a plant, but he...
You mean like a wild aloe vera plant?
A wild aloe vera plant.
In Shibuya.
Yeah, he climbed into somebody's house or somebody's garden, took this plant, it wasn't any... I mean, we were so drunk that,
yeah,
we wouldn't have known, but whatever. And he tried to apply this to my face.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what kind of plant it was, but it just reminded me on the way over here on the train.
I've heard him. I heard past tense. I heard him. Have you ever seen that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yeah.
Isn't it the father who sprays Windex on everything?
Right.
It's the same thing with Rocky and aloe vera.
It's true.
It could be a burn, a goddamn gash,
Yeah.
a severed limb.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. And he's like, you need some aloe vera. And that was his answer to everything.
It was. But he always said that that was his mom's thing.
Well, that is an adventure story.
It was. I mean, there's plenty more of those, but we'll save that for another day.
You're gonna rock the aloe vera with the...
I'm gonna have to, because I got those lines on my face.
Yeah, kind of makes you look like a cyborg.
Yeah, well, it's
not
a bad thing, is it?
But the tan's good. The tan's rocking.
Yeah, you gotta...
Now, last week we had the podcast with Guest. And
who, I must say, is one of my most favorite foreigners in all of Japan. I don't get to see him very much, but his dry humor cracks me up every time.
Shout outs to Guest. And we were talking about signature moves.
I heard that. Yeah.
All right. So do you actually have a signature move?
I inherited the Fujiwara Armbar, which is a legitimate shoot move.
Yeah.
I inherited that from him, but I'm pulling out something special on the 25th. I got a new one that no one's seen. Not even my boss knows about it.
Uh-huh.
And I do have to clear things with him.
Yeah.
I can't just pull out random moves because someone else might be doing it and it might be too famous or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling anyone. I'm not even telling him. I'm
Okay.
just gonna pull it out when the timing's right.
That shit's top secret.
What's that?
The super move for the 25th.
That's the super move for the 25th.
It's not like the atomic elbow.
No, it's not. But I do have that. I have that.
So, well, let me think. What else? So, the Fujiwara situation, how did that come about? Because no one knows.
Oh, it came about because I'm fucking... I sell tickets like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And, you know, why be stuck in a 5 vs 5 tag match?
Yeah.
When I can have a single match and shine on when I gotta sell tickets.
Okay.
If no one else can sell them.
Like, how much tickets? I mean, I've been in situations where I had to sell tickets before kickboxing.
We sold that place out, and for an independent show, that's pretty rare. We sold 1,400. Of that, I had 221 paying guests that night.
Nice.
That, you know, and that's a payday for me.
Yeah,
because I get commission on that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know,
that's part of it. I don't know if people listening realize that, but at least in Japan, pro wrestling, kickboxing, boxing, those guys, they're not just trying to hustle you.
Yeah.
That money they make on tickets, that's part of their purse.
Yeah.
That's part of how they get paid.
Yeah.
And generally, the actual purse is pretty fucking low.
Well, if you knew, I mean, you get paid more for private English lesson than I would for a match in wrestling.
There you go. Okay.
So that's how you know how little I get paid.
There you go.
All right.
And
So
that's not nice.
That's not nice at all.
So buy some fucking tickets.
Yeah. But luckily, I also get paid to edit all their videos. I'm on a salary
Yeah.
with them.
Well,
A very
cool.
low salary, but hey,
And the gym's out in Shofu, right?
in Shofu.
What's the name of the gym?
It's called U-File. It's the one that Funaki, the guy that started Pancras, they all started that place there.
Okay.
All those UWF guys that started the move towards real martial arts,
Yeah.
real stuff. That it all started there in that gym.
Then Funaki have a bunch of matches. What was it with Ken Shamrock or Frank Shamrock?
Yep. But
Bunch.
they're all buddies,
Yeah.
and they all came from the pro system,
Yeah.
and they moved up to the real shit. And so everyone thinks like Shamrock went to WWE later on. Everyone thinks that he was a UFC guy that went to WWE. He wasn't. He was a pro wrestler that went to UFC and then went back to pro wrestling.
That's a good point.
Right. He trained with Fujiwara.
Yeah.
So
Well, I've read his books. I've read both his books.
yeah, he's a badass. Legitimate.
Yeah, Superman and the Lion's Den,
Yeah.
whatever they're called.
Right.
They're pretty good books and pretty interesting. You gonna write a book?
I think I'm gonna do an expose everything about my life in Tokyo one day.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy. One
Right.
day.
One day.
Let's see. So what the fuck else is going on around here?
Well, Hanami's just finishing.
Hanami. Yeah, everyone probably knows what this is. Picnics under the cherry blossoms. It's finishing. Did you go to Hanami?
I went only to sell tickets. It was crazy because this girl who always buys ringside tickets from me,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. That was a large breast gesture
Right.
that he just made. In the
Very
silence.
large breasts, and she invited me to Hanami to promote my show.
Yeah.
And as I called her up, I said, "Where am I going?" She gives me directions. I walk up to the group, and it's this big group, and there are two guys standing in the middle, drunk, with just their underpants on.
Yeah.
But the underpants are like saturated wet, but they're white and dirty and stained, and they're dancing around, and not a single person in any other group is paying any attention. It's, it's just totally normal.
It's bedlam.
It's
It's like Woodstock. I mean, just complete hippie shit. Yeah, we were at a guest. Myself, a couple other people, Big Simon. We went to Yogi. And same thing. Like, there were these two guys carrying around this drunk fool. He had no legs. He had shit his pants. And they were dragging him around.
Right.
And they were screaming into the crowd in Japanese, "Does anyone know this man? Who does he belong to?" They're trying to make him drink water, and he kept puking everywhere. Oh, Hanami. So
fun
enchanting.
Times, fun times.
Yeah, it's actually it is a good time, but
It is.
it's a drunken orgy.
It is.
And other stuff going on. I mentioned this to you before we started today. Glory 15.
Yep.
Glory 15 Istanbul.
Or are you gonna do a special podcast on this one? Or?
I think I will do, well, perhaps. I'm not certain yet. I want to find out what happened to, what is the condition of Tyrone Spong's leg, his right shin. So anyone who doesn't know, everyone knew about Anderson Silva in UFC.
Yeah, everyone knew that. Even I knew that.
Yeah, he shattered his shin. The world cried. Right.
I didn't cry. I hate the guy.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, he's a punk.
Yeah.
And he was over the hill.
Right.
Over the hill, finished. He'd already lost to the guy,
Uh-huh.
and then he just broke his shin. Everyone called it a fluke. They didn't buy Weidman. They thought that was a fluke. Well, Tyrone Spong's 28 years old. He's in his prime. Probably the best light heavyweight alive.
Right.
One of the best ever.
Right.
Same exact thing. Except his shin exploded.
Oh.
It's in fucking pieces.
Ouch.
Yeah.
How'd he do it?
He he took a step in and threw a power right low kick, and Gogansaki checked it perfectly. And when I first started learning kickboxing years ago with Eric Paulson and Chris Arnold in Palm Springs, Eric Paulson was in Anaheim, and I think they used to call it a like a check destruction or destruction check.
Right.
It's where you specifically check with the knee, and the point is you can break their shin. The thing is, no one's doing that shit on purpose.
Right.
It's just naturally your leg comes to that level.
Right.
You don't bring your leg higher than you need to bring it.
Yeah.
So it comes up quickly, boom, that shit exploded. Hardly anyone talked about it.
When did it happen?
Saturday. In Istanbul, in Turkey.
Right.
They immediately flew to Orlando, Florida.
Ouch.
Yeah, fucking brutal. Well, Gogansaki is now the light heavyweight champion. Carnage, Nathan Carnage Corbett from Australia.
Right.
He dropped I believe it was first round TKO.
Okay. I haven't seen the results yet, but I know that he was on it.
Yeah, and I was pretty pumped, but I made some predictions. My predictions were a little off, but basically it played out that way. So we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah.
What else is on the radar? What can we expect on the 25th from your event?
We can expect one hell of a show. What can I say? It's a show. It is what it is. I should probably get into a little bit about how I became a fucking wrestler. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
And you don't know this, but you played a somewhat role in me becoming a wrestler.
Tell me more.
You don't know? You don't remember what you? I mean, I have the mail somewhere, but this was about 2008.
Yeah.
And I was only doing Aikido at the time. And for anyone who knows martial arts, Aikido is beautiful, but by itself, it's not a whole, destructive kind of. You got to add something with it to make it what it is. And
unless you're Steven Seagal.
Yeah. Well.
Then you command the tide.
Poor Anderson Silva. I mean, he's.
I guess Seagal did teach him about that one.
Right. So you're bugging me. Hey man, come on, kickboxing. And I was like, I used to do karate. I was like, really, don't want to go back to kicking. I was like, and then you gave me this mail like, hey man, look, you've got a good look. I really think you can make something of this. I was like, fuck, well, all right, if he believes in me, why don't I give it a shot? So I joined Ihara Dojo.
Yeah.
Kaicho. Joined his place, and I kickboxed there for like 3 years, but I always wanted to be the wrestler. Yeah. And you even said in that first mail in 2008, hey, it could lead on to wrestling.
Okay.
Right? And it led straight to wrestling. The reason it did is there's a girl, and we all know about Kaicho and why there's not many women in the dojo.
Well, if people don't know, they can probably do the math, figure it out.
Figure it out. But this one lady, she's a, what can I say? Well, she's a slut for fighters.
Okay.
She's a rather large lady.
Yeah.
I think she's like a quarter Brazilian. Nice enough girl. She's a tarot reader.
Okay.
And what else?
Like
she reads tarot cards and reads hands and shit.
Yeah.
So she invited me to her house, thank God, not to have sex, but to actually do the tarots.
Okay.
And she lays them all out on the table. This is an honest to God true story. And she's like, there's something in your life that you're missing, that you really want to do. And I was like, wow, this is going to sound dumb, but I always wanted to be a wrestler. Yeah. And she's like, hey, well, I fucking know Akira. And Akira is the number 2 in my company.
Oh, okay.
Right? Below Tajiri, who was in WWE for 6-7 years, massive big star.
Yeah.
And he's the reason I'm going to New York on Thursday.
Okay.
But anyway, so I mailed this guy, Akira, and he's like, come down to the show. I mailed him. Next month, I had worked in the bank. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
That was fucking horrible.
That was misery.
That was really bad. Yeah. Went back to being the ALT, and I was in Hachioji. I liked Hachioji. Yeah. Lots of awesome high school girls. I got my thing for high school girls. Yeah. Japanese high school girls. Danger. Yeah. And I was like, fuck it. And I gave up my job, and I joined that fucking dojo, and 10 months later, I debuted, and you were there for it. The debut.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
No, that's one thing I think everyone's on board with that. You know what? There's a lot of people rolling around here talking about how badass they are and fucking amazing they are, and they don't do shit.
Yeah.
You know, but you're getting it done.
Yeah.
Good on you.
You only live life once, right? So.
Exactly, and people should listen to that, write that shit down.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the other day, the Ultimate Warrior, even if you're not a wrestling fan, I mean, people know him from, you know, he's like a Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He's dropped dead at 54. He'd
Really?
just been on the show the day before. He gave this speech. He'd just come back after 18 years in the wilderness. He had a big fight with WWE, and he came back, and his promo was like, every man lives his last breath one day.
Yeah.
Some crazy prophecy. He died less than 24 hours later of a heart attack.
Jesus.
Yeah, he gave this massive, prophetic speech on national TV, you know, and then he dropped dead.
He was what, 54?
54 years old.
Good God.
Yeah. So.
Well, how old? Who's the big man in WWE now?
It's still, you know, Vince McMahon.
No, I'm talking about not him.
Oh.
I mean I don't even know.
Oh, the wrestlers.
Yeah.
I guess Cena, John Cena.
He's such a penis.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
I don't like him at all. The Rock.
The Rock.
That was a goddamn wrestler.
Yeah, but The Rock is inspirational, man. His shit he puts on his Instagram and whatnot.
Yeah.
It
is. I watch that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, it's like 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
You're supposed to go sprint.
Yeah.
Watch The Rock.
Right.
Then you can get
that motherfucker is jacked. I mean,
he is, and he's gotten just ridiculous.
He just finished Hercules, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Right.
I'll watch anything he's in now, just to literally watch him.
Yeah.
Because he's huge.
He's massive.
Yeah. What was that flick he was in with Mark Wahlberg?
Oh yeah.
The bodybuilding one.
It was alright. What was it called again?
Funny.
And what I liked about it is that they kept stopping every 30 minutes of the film, and they're like, "This shit actually happened." Right? It wasn't like this stuff actually did happen.
Yeah.
Right? What's it called? No pain, no gain. No,
no pain, no gain.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. I can't remember who directed it, but it was someone I wouldn't have expected.
Right.
Yeah, and he was pretty good, and they were all jacked,
Yeah.
particularly The Rock.
Yeah.
And then what else? Oh yeah, his movies. Did you pay attention to the Oscars?
I didn't. I like the fact that 12 slaves. What is it?
12 Years a
12
Slave.
slaves got it. And for one, I wouldn't have never voted for in DiCaprio's flick.
Yeah.
He's a fucking god. That guy is awesome.
Yeah.
But he went for so fucking long.
I know, man.
3 hours long.
I wanted to slit my wrist or eat a bullet. It was way too long.
The Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wolf of my goddamn
Right.
napping nightmares. It was
Right.
horrid.
But,
Matthew McConaughey was the shit.
yeah.
What about, did you see Dallas Buyers Club?
I haven't seen it yet. I downloaded it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, about fags.
Right.
But
I just
surprisingly
finished
it
True
wasn't.
Detective. It was
Yeah,
good.
that was really good.
That was good.
That was awesome.
Those two motherfuckers can act.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And they played off each other really, really well.
Right.
That was a good series.
Yeah.
What else are you watching for TV?
TV.
I mean, I know you're busy.
The Simpsons.
Simpsons is quality. It always is.
No, not much. I haven't watched Game of Thrones at all.
I'm staying away.
Yeah. No, I mean, I started season 1.
Yeah.
There's just too many characters for me. I couldn't keep up.
Oh. Well, I watched all the seasons.
Right.
But this season, I'm holding off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm staying away.
Right. You said on the last podcast.
Yeah. I'm staying the hell away from it. Because that shit just drives me crazy.
I was just reading on the Australian news page about a prostitute in Australia who's now got some kind of leading role in the 4th season. For 4 episodes.
Really?
Yeah, she's a hooker.
They put a bunch of weird people in.
Yeah.
They put in an Icelandic strongman.
Right.
The strongest man in whatever the fucking universe.
Yeah.
He's in it, swinging a sword around
Right.
like a fool. Apparently there's a hooker in it.
There's a hooker in it.
Quality.
Right. Now I've been watching some flicks. What I watched recently. So man, I can't even think because we got a lot of bus rides.
Yeah.
Go to Osaka and do matches. Just put them on the iPad.
Yeah.
What I watched recently. I don't know. Give me some names. What's going on?
Yeah, same thing. I did the same thing. It's the exact same. Flying to the States and flying back.
Right.
I can't sleep, so I just watch movies for 16 hours.
How was that, by the way? I was like, what, 8 years or something? Since
10 years. 10 years. 10 years. Shit. I had not been back in Conus.
You boxed with your old man?
Yeah,
that would have been fun to watch.
We did in the garage, and he put the gloves on. It was like boxing with George Foreman.
Right.
First of all, my dad is huge.
Right.
And second, he's got this old school style.
Yeah.
He can still snap the jab.
Yeah.
Even though
how old is he now?
He's 60...
60 something.
Yes, early 60s.
Early 60s.
A good-looking 60, Dad. And he's got a pretty screwed up knee. He destroyed his entire knee a few years ago.
Right.
Had it reconstructed. And we're still in there doing kettlebell workouts and boxing. Born hard.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the trip was cool. It was a good trip. We had a good time. Don't want to live in America, but had a good time. And,
I read your blog on the was it about the service in the States and what was
Customer
it?
service.
Customer service.
Yeah, I wrote about 7 culture shocks.
Right.
It's on GaijinAss.com.
I read that. That was good.
Yeah, it was okay.
It got me ready for my trip on Thursday, I think.
Yeah, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. When you go buy a cheeseburger and people are like, what you want?
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, my whole thing about America, my experience is only on the base, because that's the only America I know.
Yeah.
I just come from Yokoto the other day. Right?
Yeah.
And everyone's super friendly.
Yeah,
on the base.
Yeah, they get paid to be.
Yeah.
To take care of,
tips are like $15-20 these
they
days.
keep
right?
that illusion.
Right.
I mean, if you go to a place where they tip, generally everyone's polite, hyper polite, overly polite, annoying polite, get the fuck away from me polite.
Right.
But anywhere where they don't tip,
Right.
it's like, excuse me, could I have some napkins? Oh, God. Some fucking what? Napkins? Oh, you fucking... Here's your fucking napkins.
Serious.
It's pretty bad, man. The eye roll. And when we landed in D.C. at Dulles Airport. This is Washington, D.C.
Right.
The capital of the United States.
Right.
Holy shit. What a hellhole. Not a... God. We went to get... I went to a desk. Showed our tickets to this guy. I don't know. He looked like an Egyptian mummy. He could have been 80. He was probably 50.
Right.
Looked like shit. Vaguely brown. God knows where he's from. And I just asked him, so do we need to check in now? I mean, or are we good to go? What's the situation? And he just went, no, you good, dog. No, you good, dog. And it was like someone had smacked me in my face. And that took a minute, then we walked off. And it was like that the whole time. We were there for 2 hours. And that was the first place we landed after 10 years.
Right.
And I was
That's
just
some culture shock right there.
Oh my God. But
how did the missus take that?
She hated Dulles. It was a hellhole.
Right.
TSA is like a bunch of goddamn clowns.
Yeah, I mean, they make it out to be these big fucking, like, scary dudes that are going to confiscate everything.
It was like the Mickey Mouse Clubs does security at the airport.
Is that what I can expect?
I mean, where are you flying into?
We're going from Narita to Toronto first.
Okay.
And then changing and getting on one of those tiny little, like, they call them, BH planes? Like,
yeah.
tiny ass planes, and going to Syracuse.
Oh, I was born in Syracuse.
Yeah, right? So.
Well, that'll suck then.
Yeah. So, what can I expect?
Yeah, you'll have to deal with, well, I don't know. You'll have to deal with immigration. But actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making this up. But I think TSA is only for domestic flights.
All right.
Within the United States. So, hypothetically, you'll just have to deal with immigration.
Okay.
Probably.
I hope so.
We only had to deal with that TSA when we changed from the flight in Dulles to fly to Tampa.
Right.
And Tampa was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
We got off the plane. I was like skipping through the airport.
Awesome.
It was lovely, palm trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hell of a lot better. So, Syracuse. Wow, that blows my mind.
I'm looking forward to, the NCAA basketball's just finished. There's not a whole lot going on in town.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to some college girls. And
how long are you going to be there?
We're there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days, 3 nights.
Days. Where are you staying in Syracuse?
I have no idea. But they're not going to let us sleep.
Yeah.
It's the wrestlers are just, they're all party animals. They're not going to let us sleep. I mean, we got a match Friday night.
Yeah.
They're taking us out afterwards.
Yeah.
A seminar in the morning.
Yeah.
Match at night. Seminar Saturday night. The match again Saturday night. No, Saturday morning. Saturday night is the match. And then Sunday early morning back on the plane.
Jesus.
There is no room for sleep. I will be back. And that will kill the jet lag though.
Yeah, there'll be no jet lag. There'll be no time.
Yeah.
Wow, fuck, man.
And the thing is that my opponent, he's like a manager of some crazy bar.
Yeah.
And we're all going there apparently. And he's like, drinks on me. Right. So.
Money. Fuck, man, party in Syracuse. That
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, you'll be thrashed.
Yeah. pretty
Wait,
much.
when do you get back?
Monday.
Let's see.
21st.
You get back on You get back on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on Friday you have a title match.
Title match.
So after 4 straight days of wrestling pain and alcohol, bacchanal debauchery,
Yes.
and 2 back-to-back, how long's the flight?
All up 21 hours one way. I think it's like 17 to Toronto.
Yeah, it's
Then-
got to be similar to flying to Tampa. Dear God. And then you got a handful of days before you throw down for the title on the 25th.
And not just that, I have to train. We have wrestling training Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm expected to be there on the Wednesday. Tuesday they're going to get me off, but
Oh,
Wednesday,
that's gracious.
Wednesday I need to be there. Back to training as normal.
Pound water.
Yeah, it's gonna be
You're
fun.
going to need to take 800 milligrams of Uncle Bob Suck It the Fuck Up.
Yep.
Wash that down with a glass of hard.
Yeah.
That is going to be horrible.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I've been mentally preparing for this for.
Well, dude, this is what you've been after for a long time.
Right.
This is lifestyle, right?
This all came about because my boss is so famous in the States.
Yeah.
He's like the most famous Japanese dude.
Yeah.
You know, he won all these titles, and they've been trying to get him over for 3 years. He pretends not to speak English because that's his character.
Yeah.
So he throws everything onto me. I was like, fuck it, alright, whatever. So I mail these guys. I was like, yeah, he wants to go, but one, he needs this much money, he needs this kind of flight, and he wants a translator.
Yeah.
And they're like, no problem, bring them all over. And I was like, hey, by the way, I speak Japanese, I'm his translator, and I can wrestle. He's like, alright, done, you're coming.
Oh, money, man.
So
That's nice. Take a lot of pictures, get some crazy videos.
yeah.
You mentioned college girls. Want to see that booty. And I'll be at your event on the 25th.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to plug before we finish?
No, that's good. I mean, just no, the event, everything is.
Rock and roll, man. After your event, we'll have you back on
Yep.
for a debrief.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Later, Pete.